Hi, everyone. Today, joining me is Patricia Izek. Thank you for joining me today. Patricia holds a Bachelor of History from the Loyola University of Chicago and a Master of Education from the University of Minnesota in Human Resource Development, where she focused on change management. Patricia is the Director of Diversity, Equity, Inclusion, and Accessibility at the University of Minnesota Libraries. She is passionate about her current role, where she works to highlight the areas of opportunities surrounding issues of diversity, equity, inclusion, and accessibility. Patricia also serves on the UMAA's Inclusion, Diversity, and Belonging Committee, and in her free time, she enjoys reading, hiking, visiting her young adult children, and keeping a curious perspective. So let's just dive right into the questions. And the first one is, tell us a little bit about yourself and your experiences at the University of Minnesota.
Well, thank you, Neil. And first of all, seriously, thank you for inviting me to be part of this. It's really an honor. I'm a first-generation Mexican-American. I was born and raised in the city of Chicago. My parents immigrated from Mexico in 1950, separately settled in Chicago, where my brothers and my sister were all born and educated. After graduating from college and receiving my paralegal certification from Roosevelt University, I went to Los Angeles, where I lived for 10 years, and then made my way back to the Midwest. And here I have been in Minneapolis now, the Minneapolis Twin Cities area, for 3 decades. And it's just fantastic. My university experience started in the early 90s. I was the first paralegal hired by the Office of the General Counsel. And I took a break from the university, sadly, but someone had to raise those kids and be part of their world for a while. So I did that, and I was really fortunate to find my way back to the U. And I was hired in 2015 by the Office of Human Resources, where I served as a recruiter and a consultant focusing on equity, diversity, and inclusion, and then transitioned to libraries in 2023, which is just a year into libraries. And I just love working here. I believe that the work that we do in the end is just fantastic. We're making sure that the world receives another critical thinker out there to help manage the issues and problems and wonderful things that happen on a daily basis.
That's awesome. And I'm sure plenty of people would say we're happy you found your way back to Minnesota and the Midwest. But yeah, so going into the next question, how'd you get started volunteering, and why do you choose to volunteer with the University of Minnesota?
That's a great question. You know, I consider myself 2 lifelong things. One is a lifelong learner, and the other is a lifelong volunteer. And part of that, or volunteerer, I'm not sure. As a daughter of immigrants, I, very early realize the inequities that exist and the power structures that make it so impossible at times and so difficult for people to move in just to move in society and to be able to accomplish things, from the simple things of where you're going to live to can you buy an automobile, can you educate your children, how will you educate? So all of these things were just always discussed at our table, whereas some cultures maybe don't discuss issues. We discussed everything. So it became apparent to me that then if you wanted to do something, you should get involved. And that's where my volunteering started. So here at the U, most of my volunteer work is committee work, which I really enjoy this because it combines our collective voices, perspectives, and our skills to come together to help solve some of the issues that the institution confronts. It may be as small as within a unit, a division, but it could be larger. And I love that perspective. I'll highlight one, which I think reaches broadly, is the Equity Lens Policy Review Committee, which sits within the Diverse Community of Practice, the DCOP. That we have been charged to look at administrative policies here at the university, which we've gone through once. We go through policies as they come up for review, and people are realizing the work that's being done in this committee. And And the inequities live in policies. They make themselves comfortable there. They're used to defend the inequity that exists, what the policy says, or here's the right section. And so it's important for us to review this. And we often recommend that not only we do it at the university level, but encourage our colleges and our units to take it on. We're doing it in the libraries. And it's really, really important work. So that's one of the ones that I'm really proud of.
That's
Besides
awesome.
working with the alumni committee, of course.
Yeah.
No.
And that's a great segue into my next question. What's your favorite thing or most memorable experience volunteering with the University of Minnesota?
Oh my gosh. I think it's when you see that someone realizes something that either the committee or a recommendation that has been made, and this is for all the work that I've done, and they say, wow, I had not thought of that. And, one, they were open, they were listening and willing to take it in. And two, that we brought it to them, right? And I never lose sight of the fact that it's a we here. So it's really important. So yeah, that's a great question. I think that's it. When someone says, wow, thanks, I hadn't thought of that. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, when you could kind of see people putting those pieces of the puzzle together. Yeah, that's awesome. And then lastly, why would you encourage someone else to volunteer if they're thinking about it?
Oh my goodness, because you can be part of the solution, right? Not just recognizing the issues that need our attention and maybe change, but through the work of volunteering, no matter what stage you enter that work in, you will leave your mark, your little ripple that will continue to go with that committee that will ultimately, with time, because good things take time, change will occur. So I approach this very optimistically. I really believe that the work that we do matters and that it will create change. So
Awesome.
solution. Yeah.
Awesome. Well, thank you again for joining me today, and thank you for all the service you're doing with the University of Minnesota.
Oh, thank you, Neil. You do awesome work here for us as well. Appreciate it. Have a great day.
You too.